Primordial. To exist at or from the beginning of time. This, my fellow Tarnished, is where our story of the lands between starts. It was during this earliest period of history that all life originated from the Crucible, the primordial form of the Erdtree, within which the aspects of every living creature were merged together. The Crucible's primal vital energies gave rise to new species with every imaginable combination of traits: amphibian, avian, reptilian, mammalian, and countless others besides. During the Primordial Age, the lands were dominated by beasts who gained intelligence, as well as the ancient dragons whom they served. The Cinkadea Shortsword and the Azula Beast Ashes help us pull together this piece of history by mentioning the celebration of the beast's 5 fingers and the intelligence bestowed upon them. The description of the doomed Farum Azula is as a crumbling ruins in the sky, a former shrine to an ancient dragon. And not just any ancient dragon. Crumbling Farum Azula is the ruined shrine of the Dragonlord Placidusax. For you see, Placidusax is more than just an epic secret boss battle. During this primordial era, it was Placidusax that ruled over all as the first Elden Lord, long before the establishment of the Golden Order. This revelation dethroning Godfrey's title as the first Elden Lord can be found on the remembrance of the Dragonlord. Chapter 2: Visitors from Beyond. During the Primordial Age, the world was indeed fledgling. However, it was not alone in the vast expanse of the cosmos, and it wasn't long before a host of outer gods and fell creatures of the starry void took notice of its existence, exerting varying degrees of influence over our young planet and its civilizations. This is quite a chunk of lore for sure, and there are several item descriptions we can thank for this piece of the puzzle. The most noticeable for me are Mogwyn's Sacred Spear, a tool used for communing with an outer god who bestows power upon cursed blood. And secondly, not so much an item description, but the description of the base template of Numen during character creation. The face of the Numens, supposed descendants of Denzians of another world, long-lived but seldom born. Of these interfering and ominous gods, the one known as the Greater Will played the most significant part in shaping the fledgling new world as we know it. It is said the Greater Will sent a golden star to the lands between, bearing a beast which was the living embodiment of order and would later become the Elden Ring. The Elden Star's incantation and the Elden Remembrance clearly state this great piece of our lore puzzle. To bestow its teachings and further spread its influence, the Greater Will relied on a group of bizarre hand-like creatures known as the Fingers, which served as its missionaries and enforcers. Finger Reader Enya tells us that she interprets the words of the Fingers, envoys to the Greater Will, and the Golden Order Principia Prayer Book is described as the Order's fundamental principles. You'll notice that sometimes when you speak to Enya, her accent and voice changes. When this happens, you know that it is the Fingers speaking through her. After a series of long and brutal conflicts, a theocracy in dedication to the Golden Order was established. This system of absolute laws embodied by the Erdtree was sustained through the power of the Elden Ring. The protection of the Erdtree incantation tells us that in the beginning, everything was in opposition to the Erdtree, but through countless victories in war, it became the embodiment of order. Chapter 3: The Rise of the Golden Order. The Golden Order was led by Queen Marika, a member of the Numen race. She served as both the theocracy's head of government and its patron goddess. Marika's consort was Godfrey, the first Elden Lord ordained by the Greater Will under the new Golden regime. Godfrey won battle after battle for Marika. Victory in the war against the Giants brought an end to the threat of the Giants' great flame. This paved the way for Marika to establish the Age of the Erdtree. The Age of the Erdtree was stable, prosperous and bountiful. The Elden Ring had rewritten the very laws of nature, confining destined death and enabling the souls of the departed to reincarnate by returning to the Erdtree through its roots, while blessings rained down upon the living. However, the Age of Plenty was not to last long. The fickle Marika eventually shattered the Elden Ring by her own hand, appending the Golden Order and throwing the very foundations of existence into disarray. Chapter 4: The Shattering. The Age of the Erdtree came to an end when Ranni the Witch, formerly an Empyrean chosen by the Fingers as a candidate to succeed Queen Marika, rebelled against the Golden Order and orchestrated the murder of Godwyn the Golden, using a stolen fragment of the forbidden Rune of Death. She then vanished, without a trace. The murder of Godwyn destabilised the theocracy and ultimately led to Queen Marika shattering the Elden Ring in her despair. This was an act of sacrilege, for which she was subsequently confined within the Erdtree by the Greater Will and its vassal Fingers. The vacuum of power left in the wake of Marika's imprisonment was filled by the remnants of her lineage, all vying for possession of the Elden Ring's shattered shards in a long and brutal war, which later became known as the Shattering. For all of the blood spilled during the Shattering, not one single victor emerged to claim the throne, and the shard-bearing offspring of Marika were thusly condemned by the Greater Will. Desperation befell the Fingers, and so they turned to the Tarnished, ordinary mortals fallen from grace, in hope that a worthy successor for Marika would rise from their ranks. With the guidance of grace extended to them once more, the Tarnished flocked to the Round Table Hold, enticed by the Fingers' wisdom and the great duty imposed upon them in the name of the Golden Order. Chapter 5: A Fractured World. The methods employed by the Two Fingers to preserve the fragmented laws of nature and compel cooperation from the Tarnished were less than subtle, and the Greater Will made stark examples of any who opposed it. Over time, however, the Fingers' power and influence began to wane, and their inability to mitigate the fallout from the Elden Ring's destruction earned them even more skeptics, and an increasing number of dangerous enemies. Yet, even as life lies in shambles, so does a glimmer of hope endure, and where the Greater Will and its vassals have failed, a Tarnished may yet succeed. Many possible solutions lie ahead, and once you have overcome the many trials on the path to lordship, it will be up to you to choose whichever you deem worthy. Arise, ye Tarnished, and welcome to the lands between.